Can we be honest with each other? I think these days it's safe to say that the dream of being an entrepreneur is something that is sold and pushed probably about as much as the next fad diet. It's everyone who started traveling and has no money is like, I know, I'll teach people how to be a digital nomad. Well, how are you traveling? Well, my boyfriend pays for it, or I inherited some money, or I work remotely, I'm a programmer. Maybe not qualified to sell the dream of entrepreneurship, just saying. But in this video, I want to have some fun and look at 5 real signs that maybe you're cut out to be an entrepreneur, which is definitely not for everybody. But for those of us it is for, it's a real shame for you not to be playing on our team. By the way, if you are curious, my name is Dan. I'm originally from Canada. I'm filming this video in Prague, and I have been a location-independent entrepreneur for over 10 years, running a couple types of businesses, primarily freelance writing and coaching and training. And if you're new here and into MBTI, I am an ENFP. Now, these signs, you may not tick all these boxes, but these are some of the things that come to mind. So the first sign that perhaps you're meant to be an entrepreneur is you got bored or really struggled in school despite being really smart. This is probably one of the top signs in my book because school is about teaching you, at least it was in my day, about a certain way of doing things, right? Where it has to be boom, 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 follow these rules. And entrepreneurship is about, I have a destination, how can I get there in the best way possible? Entrepreneurs are the opposite of academics. And so school can be really annoying and difficult. I remember in math, I'm fairly good at math, and word problems I did exceptionally well in. I would basically always get them right because it was a situation. I was like, yeah, okay. And then the numbers only problems, like certain, is it algebra? I'm forgetting now. I would be so-so, and then often I would get in trouble because I wouldn't show my work. I'd look at something and kind of do it in my head, which I probably can't do anymore. And then the teacher would say, you didn't show your work. Like, why do I need to show my work? I know the answer. What's the point of wasting time? And I'd usually be the first one done the test, and then I'd get accused of cheating. I'm like, who did I copy off of? I was the first one done the test. It was a frustrating experience. I hope you don't mind me being using you as my therapist for a little bit here. Really though, school and struggles is very common for entrepreneurs because we look at the way, like, why do I have to learn that? I don't want to learn it. It's not getting me anywhere. And so we tend not to be very motivated to do it. And often too, a lot of entrepreneurs have ADHD. Dyslexia is more common among entrepreneurs than, I should fact check this actually, but we're gonna keep it in the video. I'm almost positive dyslexia is also more common among entrepreneurs than the general public as well. 2 things that can make school difficult despite being a really smart and capable person. The next sign is that you find better ways to do things. Like maybe you're watching a TV show about something the government's doing and you're like, that is not the smartest way to solve this problem. Or you go into a store and you just see how they're doing things and you're like, no, if they arrange that or they change that up, that could be done a lot better. Basically, you see ways to improve things or potentially see innovations or new things that could come about. There are many different types of entrepreneurs, right? Some are innovators where they'll come up with something that is almost brand new, nothing's brand new, but come up with something totally out of left field. And then others are improvers who will look at a business or look at how something is done and incrementally improve it. I'm not a massive fan of the Amazon empire, but Jeff Bezos is an improver, right? He, as far as I know, Amazon's never really innovated anything in terms of out of the blue. They make tiny incremental improvements for decades until they just become so good they take over everything. So you probably already have a sense which of these you are, but if you do either of these things where you're always seeing better ways to do things, or you're thinking of new ideas all the time, that's probably a sign that you might be meant to play on our team. Next up, and this might take you back to school again, is you've had the thought, this rule is really stupid. Why do I have to do this? Perhaps without realizing that they need the rule for other people. So often we will look at a rule and think that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would people act that way? Forgetting that the general population probably doesn't think like you. So in your case, the rule makes absolutely no sense and serves no benefit. But in many cases, if you actually got into the statistics or worked for the government, you'd realize like, oh, most people think differently than me. And actually, these rules are very useful. Don't worry, I'm not going to get too political here, but a lot of libertarians are entrepreneurs. It kind of makes sense, right? It's about personal responsibility and being in charge of your own life. And so libertarians have a lot of beliefs around get rid of this rule, get rid of that rule. People will do the right thing. This will work out. This will work out. And it probably would for that group of personally responsible libertarians who maybe have their own business and play important roles in their community, but probably wouldn't with the entire population, which is a shame, but a good example of this in action. I'm cheating a bit on this next one because I'm mixing a few together, but it's that you tend to be someone to initiate things and get things started. Maybe with your friend group, you're the one who's often like, hey, let's go play the sport together, or let's organize something on Friday nights, or whatever it happens to be. You're an initiator. You tend to go from zero to doing something. That's an important part of entrepreneurship. If you're sitting on the fence for years and years and years, I'm not telling you you can't be an entrepreneur, but entrepreneurs are people who do things. So if you start doing things and taking action and initiating, then perhaps you become that entrepreneurial type. But generally, entrepreneurs initiate. With that, entrepreneurs tend to be good with uncertainty and want some kind of challenge, right? The idea of just doing the same thing over and over again for consistency, for certainty, not very appealing. And actually, I came up with a test for this when I was in college. So I'm from Vancouver, Canada, where a good income is maybe, it varies how old you are and everything else, but like a lawyer who's 30 years old would probably earn, I don't know, $130,000, $150,000, maybe more than that a year. A good income. So I had this test I did with people where I would say, what if you had an opportunity, like a deal with the devil, where you could agree that if you signed this contract, you had to work from 9 to 5, 5 days a week for the rest of your life until retirement age, and you were guaranteed $200,000 tied to inflation. So far above average income, like this would be upper class income. And that's, you would get it, but you could not invest it. You could not do anything special with it. You couldn't go start your own business. You just had to have this money your whole life. And you just, that would be it basically. And you go and you put your time in. The work would not be painful, but it would not be fun and challenging. You would just kind of do it. This was my question. And I remember, for me, it was so obvious the answer was no, I would never take that deal. But I remember asking it to a close friend of mine, and he looked at me like I was an idiot. He said, why do you think I'm in law school? Like, this is what I've signed on for with law school. And so your answer to that question may be telling as well of if you have the entrepreneurial DNA. Would you give up a sure thing and certainty at the expense of challenge and fulfillment and potential? The last one, did you do something entrepreneurial before the age of 15? This I find is very common for those who are really hardwired to be entrepreneurs. Now, if you didn't, it's not to say that you're not. I'm going to talk about that a bit at the end. But if you were doing something, taking that initiative where maybe you started a lemonade stand, a babysitting business, doing some kind of delivery, anything where you're just trading hockey cards or whatever else, right? Was it Pokemon as well? If you took some initiative early, to me, that's a very strong sign. And I think a lot of people lose that through the high school years and college and then forget they had that and then don't go back to it. But maybe they are, because maybe that's you and maybe you're here. For me, I look back and between the age of 10 and like 13, I did a bunch. I got 2 paper routes, which technically I was self-employed. That counts. I started a babysitting business where I'd like put up flyers and things. I even started a little marketing company where I'd meet with local business owners. This was when I was 13, I kid you not. We'd meet with business owners, find out about what they were doing, create flyers in Printmaster Gold Deluxe on the old 486 PC, print them out, and then deliver them. And we're paid like $250 and $500 for this. 13 was pretty good. Then I went to high school and didn't do anything. College, didn't do anything. Maybe played around, I can't even remember, with like a few ideas then, but basically did nothing. And then it was after college where I kind of came back to it. And I'm not saying that, well, I will say it. High school, at least the way it was, is not set up to create these entrepreneurial masterminds, is to create creative geniuses, to help people find a really fulfilling life. The whole system was designed for, like, we need people to fill jobs, Industrial Revolution style. And so it's sort of natural that looking to your youth is where you're actually going to find more signs of who you really are wired to be. And then maybe you lose some of that like I did, and then you can get it back. Because high school and college is like Industrial Revolution, and then college is like academics who are the furthest thing from entrepreneurs 9 times out of 10. So there you go. Perhaps there was something in your childhood that you can look back on now and say, damn, this is actually something for me. Now, this is meant to be a fun video. I'm having some fun with it here. Don't take this as your destiny. Maybe you tick all 5 boxes and, entrepreneurship's not for you. Or maybe you didn't, but you're like, no, this is what I want to do, I know. Ultimately, that beats everything else. If this is something in your heart, this is for me, this is what I'm meant to do, ignore these signs lists. You don't need a horoscope to tell you your destiny when you've decided on your destiny. In the comments below, let me know which of these 5 applied to you, and any other signs you think that maybe I missed here that show the potential or the destiny ingrained in your soul to become an entrepreneur. Thank you for watching. I publish new videos every week, helping you become the best version of yourself and creating an awesome life for you and those you love. So subscribe, come back to another video. I'll see you soon. Bye. One last thing, if you're an ENFP who loves being told how absolutely awesome you are and why you are the best in the world, well, head over to dreamsaroundtheworld.com/ENFP training, and you can get my free training series for ENFPs, where the first email is a pep talk. You'll see the subject line in your inbox, ENFPs are awesome. After you read it, reply to the email me back, and let me know what one of your favorite things to do is. See you in your inbox.